Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. Yes, I know this is a little bit late. I'm supposed to be discussing Missy Volume 1 after all. I mean, I know we had some Missy with River Song, but let's face it, you wanted the full box set. Yes, all of the other masters hanging around with River Song were lovely, but that story, that Brechtel test was just great, and we just wanted more. Luckily, we didn't have to wait long. And we won't have to wait long after this for the next little batch of Missy. So, we start this box set straight in, story number 1. Here's the synopsis. In a spot of bother in Victorian London, Missy is forced to take on governess duties. But she has another scheme in mind, and her charges are simply in the way. She's going to have to teach the children some rather harsh lessons about getting what you want. And there will be tears before bedtime. A Spoonful of Mayhem is a stormingly good story, but to be fair, all 4 of the things in this box set are superb. I mean, seriously, if you're even toying with the idea of heading down the Big Finish route, this is a good place to start, especially if you're just a fan of the new series, or indeed just of Missy. You're not going to be disappointed, and you'll reveal to yourself how great audio drama can be. So, well, you've had the synopsis, that's fine. What you've actually got is mental Poppins. Yes, everyone always went on about Mary Poppins and the whole Missy thing. Yes, she's going to make the gender gags. Yes, she's going to be just cleverer than everyone else in the room. Now that's your problem with the master. It's always the problem with the doctor. But with the master, you've really got issues. With Missy, you've got the same issues. It's the same character. They're just wearing a different body. But they are a kind of mental as well. This is the post-Time War master. She is superb. She's insane. She's more mad than any of the others. And yet, she also is questioning whether she's on the side of good, evil, or even her own enlightened self-interest. She looked a little bit like Mary Poppins. It's an easy, low-hanging fruit to grasp. But you know what? This is not a male character in the ultimate form of drag. Missy is all female, but is still always going to be the master. It's a fantastic bit of writing that you can pull off yourself. It's also a minefield. You could quite easily fall into a whole set of traps, but no one gets to do that. Also, in this story, just like the War Master, you've got a very specific thing. Our hero, heroine, the central character, is an anti-hero. You're rooting for them. You want them to win. But of course, do you really want them to win? I mean, after all, they're the villain of the piece. They're after something bad. Now, obviously, in real life, it's easier to try and work out good and bad. It's who matches your apparent moral coding. But in narrative fiction, especially when there's something as big as the universe at stake, or just someone who's plain funny, you're going to love them. You're going to want them to win because they're the baddies. It's marvellous. So, not even an anti-hero, just someone weird. Now, the theme tune also milks this whole Mary Poppins Disney thing. It's as close to breaching copyright as you're going to be able to get without Disney banging on the door going, would you mind doing it a bit differently so that we don't sue you? It's brilliant. It's a great theme tune, perfect for Missy. Not exactly perfect for the other masters, but definitely for Missy. It's a brilliant story. Now, you've also got Dan Starkey turning up, and Dan Starkey does give you a very good performance. You get a lot of good Dan for your money, but his voice is a tiny bit identifiable. So when one character turns up with a similar voice to one of the earlier characters, even through some sort of speech synthesizer thing, you're going, well, that's Dan doing another part. It takes you a little bit out of the moment. I'm just being picky. I genuinely am. God, if that's the worst thing that happens in this box set, it might be, then really nothing to complain about. So, you've got a great story. You've got, well, Mary Poppins as governess. It works. And she is Scary Mary. She's going to let them live, which is, out of character for Missy, but great. I don't want to give away spoilers on that one. Which leaves us to arguably even more of a highlight in this box set, which is Divorced, Beheaded, Regenerated by John Dorney. Here's the synopsis. Missy arrives in Tudor England, throwing the plans of another renegade Time Lord into chaos. Henry VIII is on the throne, and aliens are stomping through the countryside. Missy just wants to be queen. And the monk? Once he knows who else is on the scene, he'll be glad just to stay alive. I love the monk. I really do. I love his current incarnation. I love the fact that he's just basically floundering, and he's always trying not to be the monk. He's always trying different bits of meddling. But everyone likes a bit of alliteration. You just can't beat it. And you know what? If you're trying to survive the Time War, hiding out in an abbey's ideal, unless the Reformation happens and all of the abbeys get closed. You use the chameleon circuit, you disguise yourself as the local monarch, and you mess about with history just in order to try and attract attention and get rescued. I love the fact that the monk survived the Time War. It's brilliant. Very happy about this. The monk versus the master. Even the monk knows he's completely outclassed by Missy. And all he wants to do is get away with his life. Same as always. He plays with fire. He's not the cleverest of people, but he is more cunning than you think. Really excellently performed across the board. So much fun. Story number 3, however, brings us to Broken Clock by Nev Fountain. Here's the synopsis for that. Tonight on Dick Zodiac's America's Most Impossible Killers, Detective Joe Linwood hunts the most impossible killer of his career. There's a trail of bodies, impossible bodies, and Joe has one night to solve the case. Luckily, D.I. Missy Master from Scotland Yard in England, London, England, is here to help. Now, when you've got a box set that people have invested a bit of money in, you're expecting a certain level of quality. That box is ticked straight off. You've got Nev Fountain in, so you know you're in for something a little bit different. Nev Fountain likes experimenting with narratives and what you're expecting as an audience member. But he's clever enough to know what the audience actually want is a decent and logical, within reason, payoff. Well, that is what you get here. You've got something that feels weird and odd. And it only works because it's in a box set, surrounded by straightforward stories. You're listening going, I'm loving this. It's just wrong. It's funny. Yeah, I'll grant you that. Without question, it's funny. But it's sitting there just toying with your ideas of narrative structure, characterization, what's going on, the ways of telling the story. And until the end, it toys with you like a cat and a small mouse. It's glorious as a tale, truly marvellous. And then it pays off and it makes perfect sense. You're trapped in the narrative halfway through thinking, I can't see how anyone's going to get out of this. It's well thought out. The structuring would have been great. The performances are superb across the board. Everyone is bigger than life, but they're bigger than life for a reason, and that just works. It's a one-trick thing. You won't be able to pull this off again, but it genuinely comes together beautifully. This is going to go down in history as a superb box set. It really is. The fourth story is left with a little of a bit of a problem. Here's the synopsis for that. The Belly of the Beast by Jonathan Morris. Missy's schemes near completion. All she must do is subjugate one little planet and bend the inhabitants to her will. Not too much to ask. But slaves will keep rebelling. It's almost as if they don't want to unearth an ancient artifact to fulfill Missy's plans for universal domination. She'll have to do something about that. You see, with this story, you kind of need to bring all of the threads together in order to have some sort of rough payoff. You see, listening to this, we didn't care about that. We know that the Master's Missy's got an ongoing problem, an ongoing plan, and eventually it'll come to fruition. We think it might have something to do with the reason she was trapped on Earth in the first story, but we don't really care. We don't. We're just literally in it for the ride. This is all about the journey. Because it's the Master. Yes, she, he, it will be defeated. That's fine. They will be defeated. At some point. But the only person in the whole universe who's managed that is River and the Doctor. People, you know what I mean. And that's because in narrative, the good win. It's not real life. That's how you can tell the difference. Real life, the idiots and the evil people win. That's how you can spot it for real life. It's an easy rule of thumb. Not depressing at all. So with this story, you've got a very, very nice setup. Missy is in charge of a world, and she's using its inhabitants as slaves, but not everything even remotely is as it seems. And you know what? She's only really doing it to entertain herself. And that is what Missy's truly about. She's just plain bored. She's got attention deficit disorder, and she's been around long enough to have seen everything. All she wants is to be entertained. It's a bit ridiculous. So, I'll fade away, play you the trailer, and let you decide for yourself. So until next time, be seeing you.
I'm fabulous at strategy, mathematics, creative roleplay. In fact, you could say I'm mostly marvellous in every manner.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions.
And tell you what, special offer. If I don't like you lot after, no one has to die.
Missy, Volume 1.
You stand for everything the Wardens abominate. You are wayward, chaotic, willful.
And now, here I stick, exiled to 19th century Earth like some common time urchin.
What are you, lady's maid, governess? Fond of children, are you?
Loathe them.
I know who you are. You know I know who you are. You're Missy, the artist formerly known as the Master.
What do you want, human?
Oi, less of that. Be nice.
Free at last!
It's a genie.
Are you significant?
180, 200, 220, needles in the danger zone.
It's place to be. Shall we take this baby out for a spin?
So this person with the pointed beard, is he our bad guy?
Okay, so killing people means evil. You say so.
Don't you?
Nah.
Big Finish. We love stories.
Aren't I the best teacher ever? I should speak to your dad about getting a raise.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.